Hi and welcome. I am Dr. Hughes, a teacher sharing with you the lessons I've learned through experience and research. When I first started teaching, a big struggle I had was understanding the difference between what I thought was good education, what I thought that should look like, and what students needed. Students should sit down, listen to the teacher, and do the work. Traditional education. But as we know from history, we evolve. Perhaps not physiologically, but with each year, there are new ideas, new challenges, and a constantly changing landscape between technology, expectations, and opportunities. Despite the similarities I've seen between the student groups each year, I can confirm that the students I teach today are not the same as the students as I taught in the beginning. Over the past 10 years, since I began documenting my observations on this topic, I've noticed that today's students have an increased need to understand the importance of the content and the relevance of the work they do to life beyond schooling. There are more students who don't know what that life will look like after school. And there are more students who have anxiety or mood disorders. Research shows there's a disconnect between what we ask of students at school and what they need for their development. Sure, our content is important, but we need to address the students' need to build up their autonomy and their competence. To be competent, students need us to very clearly and directly show them how to do certain things, including when and how to whisper, work together, etc. For students to be autonomous, they need to be taught how to tackle moments of confusion and respond to feedback in a way that accelerates their learning. In the past 5 years, I've been tracking how students respond to feedback and what that does to their performance. The majority of students who respond to feedback and apply it to their future learning show the most growth and outperform others on their final exams. Research also details that students need teachers to provide consistency and to balance the action with the effort students have to put into the work. For example, if I were to assign an article for my students to read and respond, for those whose reading ability is high, this is an easy task. Very little effort is needed. For students who have reading struggles, the amount of effort may not be worth the reward of a good grade or understanding the material. To balance it out for my struggling readers, I may ask them to read in chunks, break the action into smaller, more achievable actions, but if I do that, I have to break up their response task as well. Not a big deal, but something to keep in mind. Also, something to keep in mind is that if you do break something down in chunks, in a student's mind, it feels like more work. A lot of mini tasks instead of just one big one. So, some reduction either in the amount of questions, the response rubric, or whatever is needed to balance the action with the effort cost. Lastly, the learning needs to be clearly relevant. They'll want to know why they need to learn this stuff. And you might not have an answer, especially if you teach the more advanced subjects. But what you can do is ask the students to consider how the information is used in the real world. As you think about your classroom, build in procedures that can help students build their competency and their autonomy. When creating assignments, consider how they can be adapted to meet students' need for balance. And anticipate student questions by considering why what you're teaching and asking them to do is important. And that brings us to the end of our video. I hope this proved helpful to you or to someone that you know. At the very least, I hope it proved informative and entertaining. If there are any topics that you would like a video on or to know more about, please let me know at bit.ly/what2explore. Additionally, there's not a production schedule currently, as I'm still teaching and doing other projects also. So if you would, please just tap the subscribe and the little bell to get notified on when new videos and resources are posted. Thank you for joining me here today. Keep learning, keep growing, and have fun. You got this.